Welcome back to the Sell Your Service Business podcast. I'm Brad, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the entire process of acquisitions. What does it look like? What can you expect? You'll get your questions answered here. And if there's something we didn't cover, make sure to drop that in the comments below, and we will address it. We're getting ready to record a next season, and we want to hear from you. We want to know, what questions do you have about acquisitions? What do you want to know about selling your business, valuing your business, building an exit strategy? We'd love to talk about it. And also, please subscribe and like and share this. It helps to get it out to more people. We'd really appreciate it. But let's get to the episode. One of the things that I do believe is important for us to go through is the actual process. Because I mean, I think it's very interesting. It's like, well, what does that look like?
Yeah.
You know, okay, Tony, I want to sell my company to you.
We'll take it.
What happens next?
Yeah, it's a process. And so buckle up and get ready for the process, because it can take, on the short side of it, I think I've seen it from start to finish. I've seen it get done in 3 months, but that was an accelerated, already motivated buyer, already listed with a broker, so already valuation, already clean books. It can easily take 1 to 2 years for the process. So we'll go through, I'll go through the step by step, but I would say when you're going to look at selling, if you think you want out of your business in 2 years or 3 years, you should start this process right now. And probably you'll be through it in 2 years or 3 years. And so the process goes, we meet, we have a conversation, you want to sell your business, you give a basic overview. We see if it's something we're interested in. If we're not, there are other buyers, there are other brokers, there are other ways to sell the business. Since we're not interested, if we're not interested in the business buying it, it doesn't mean someone's not. There are lots of buyers out there. The process, and I'll speak of our process, a lot of the processes are very similar, but you need to produce your financials. So before you produce your financials in the process, many people want an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. So you get an NDA. That means basically we're engaged in this negotiation. All your information we keep private. If we don't come to a deal, we get rid of it, delete it. We don't keep it. We don't use it against you. I think the NDA thing is necessary. There has to be confidentiality around people. We didn't want our employees knowing that we were selling the business. We didn't want customers knowing. So all that we worried if we engaged in selling a business with a company and it didn't work out, but our employees knew we had been walking through that for a year, what kind of instability did that create with them? Mm-hmm. What kind of instability did it create with the customer? If they found, we did this early on, we thought we were going to do a sale with a competitor, and we sent our financials to the competitor, and the competitor used that to mutual customers that we had to say, listen, these guys are going away. They're not going to be here. I'm here for life. And we actually lost customers that way. So the whole confidentiality is very important for buying and selling companies. Yeah. So that's a non-negotiable. So you get your NDA. Then you produce your financials. So you, again, I'll speak to us, not everybody, but something of this nature happens. You give the last 3 years of your P&Ls. You give the trailing 12 months, so the last 12 months. They usually want to see that in a monthly format so you can see if there is cycles or a seasonality to your business. So you produce your financials. You produce your asset list, so your trucks, trailers, any big assets really over, say, $2,000. You produce a list of all those because that will come into the equation. Mm-hmm. So then we collect all that information, we aggregate it in an analysis program. We look at, it'll track like what were the percentages off from year to year and what were the differences. So it'll kind of red flag any items that might be one-time items that we need to talk about. We get your financial information, set up a call with you, the owner, and the acquisition team. So a CPA will be on the call, buyers will be on the call. and you'll go down your financials and review all the owner benefits. So anything that you took out of the company that doesn't necessarily show on the bottom line, you review all that, and we sit there and manually will add that stuff in, discuss it, see if it is something that's necessary. For example, you might have a $50,000 food and entertainment budget line item, and we go through it and we're like, okay, we know you do actually take customers to meals. Your salespeople have that ability, but some of this might be you took your wife to Ruth's Chris. So what's the percentage that was you just going to dinner, and what percentage of it was real salespeople taking customers? So we'll go down line by line, analyze that P&L, come up with a real bottom line owner benefit. After you do that, if we want to buy the company and you still want to sell the company to us after you've had the conversation and gotten to know us a little bit, then we would send a LOI, or a letter of intent. So that letter of intent gives you a price based on what your projected revenue was to be. So usually it'll have a price and it'll have an earn-out. So for our company, we'll put a percentage of the purchase price down at close, at the contract. We like owners to stay on for 1 year, and you have that 1 year earn-out, and then you get the balance of it at the end of that year. So it'll have the price and how the payments are going to be made for your company. Every piece of this, to include the LOI, to include the asset purchase agreement, to include the employment agreement, to include the lease, all these things are negotiated. So there's negotiation along the whole way. So an LOI, you'll get your letter of intent. You'll look at it and be like, yeah, that price looks good, looks better. You'll make whatever counter offer you have to it. And then once you agree to the basic terms on the letter of intent, we'll sign it, you'll sign it. That means turn the page, we have a basic, the letter of intent is the basic offer. Like if you were doing a house, before you did your due diligence, before you kicked the tires, you have a basic price of what someone thinks it's worth based on your financials and your discussions. After that, you get an agreed on letter of intent, then you move to an asset purchase agreement, which is a long, boring document that has 10
Thanks again for watching this episode. Again, if you'd like to reach out to Tony or I, you maybe just want to ask some questions one-on-one, you don't want to do it in the comments, visit yourexitplan.net. We'd love to talk to you about your exit strategy, build the right plan for your business. But anyway, thanks again for watching. Do make sure to subscribe, so we'll see you next week.